Um, Good afternoon, everyone. It's 12 o'clock, May 21st, and we are here for the Facilities and Program Committee meeting. And are there any public comments?
No public comments.
Okay. So we will move on to item number 1. Presentation, discussion, and possible recommendation on the renewal of the annual janitorial services contract.
Hello, everybody. I'm Travis Menchaca, the Facilities Manager for the Facility Maintenance Department. And today I'll be presenting the janitorial services contract renewal for the 4th year. Table of contents, we'll discuss the janitorial service contract renewal and the performance, the scope, cost breakdown, contract versus in-house, timeline, photos, next step, and then questions at the end. Okay, so the janitorial services contract renewal and performance. Task number 1, renewal of janitorial service contract. Description: on May 8th, 2023, the BPUB Board of Directors approved the annual janitorial services contract for 2 years with Mecklemore Building Maintenance. The awarded contract gives BPUB the option to renew the contract for 3 additional 1-year periods. The BPUB is exercising to renew the annual contract for the 4th year. Next task would be current performance. Mecklemore Building Maintenance has performed janitorial services for 23 BPUB facilities for the past 3 years. The janitorial services contract has been successfully executed each year. Mecklemore Building Maintenance has a total of 21 employees working the BPUB janitorial service contract. So here I'll go over the scope. Mecklemore Building Maintenance will provide all the material, labor, and equipment to perform the required cleaning services. The scope includes furnishing all cleaning solvents, paper products, and equipment approved by the BPUB Facility Maintenance Department. Perform general cleaning services to include collection and removal of all trash, dust and wax, all office furniture, clean and polish all glass, metal trims, clean walls, doors, and frames. Sweep and mop all hard floor surfaces, vacuum all carpeted areas, clean ice machines and water fountains, clean all offices, hallways, foyers, restrooms, break rooms, boardrooms, and conference rooms. This also includes semi-annual polishing of floors, perform low and high dusting of all surfaces, shampooing and steam cleaning carpets. So here is the cost breakdown. There's 23 locations, which would include the Annex, 511, SRWA, SCADA, Admin, and the rest of the facilities. So there's the breakdown for the total janitorial services contract is $574.18. So here we have contract versus warehouse versus in-house. So the total cost on the left-hand side of the contract is $574,018. If we were to do this in-house, we would be spending $1,196,000.
I really appreciate that you put this slide together.
You're welcome, ma'am.
And 'cause I think you knew that was gonna be your question.
Yes.
And so how did you calculate the BPUB employee cost?
So what I did is we do currently have several janitorial team members that are employees of BPUB. And I went ahead and did the justification by adding the additional employees of what the contract has versus ours. And I came up with that total amount for total compensation.
Okay. And another question, have you asked just staff members, around the different buildings, how satisfied they are? I'm just wondering if there's...
Yes, and they turn in monthly satisfaction surveys.
Okay,
Correct.
okay. And so people will be happy?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I don't have any more questions on that.
This is a local company?
Yes, it's a local company. That's right. And The total savings of us going into the contract versus BPB employee costs is $622,232. So the timeline, June 2026, present janitorial services contract renewal to board for approval. In July 2026, PO will be issued to Macklemore Janitorial Services. So here's some photos showing the existing Macklemore team performing their services. Here's some additional photos. And then next steps, June 8th, 2026, present the janitorial service contract renewal to BPUB board for approval. And do I have any questions?
Any questions? I think we're good, thank you.
Okay, do I have the committee's approval to move forward with consent? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Item number 2, presentation, discussion, and possible recommendation on the renewal of the groundskeeping maintenance services contract.
Okay, so today I'll be presenting the groundskeeping services contract renewal for the 4th year. Once again, I'm Travis Machaka, Facilities Manager for the Facility Maintenance Department. So table of contents for this one, we'll go over the groundskeeping service contract renewal and performance, the scope, cost breakdown, contract versus in-house, timeline, photos, next steps, and questions. The groundskeeping service contract renewal and performance. The first task is renewal of a groundskeeping service contract. On May 8th, 2023, the BPUB Board of Directors approved the annual groundskeeping services contract for 2 years with Valleywide Tree Trimming LLC. The awarded contract gives the BPUB the option to renew the contract for 3 additional 1-year periods. The BPUB is exercising to renew the annual contract for the 4th year. Next task would be performance. Valleywide Tree Trimming LLC has performed the groundskeeping services for 306 BPUB facilities for the past 3 years. The groundskeeping services contract has been successfully executed each year. Valleywide Tree Trimming LLC has a total of 20 employees working the BPUB groundskeeping services contract and hires an additional 10 employees during rainy seasons. So the scope includes where Valleywide Tree Trimming LLC will provide all the material, labor, and equipment to perform the required groundskeeping services. Grass mowing, tree and plant trimming, and removal of trash and clippings from each side. Sweep all paved parking lots and sidewalks. Keep all concrete free of vegetation, including all main building areas. Pre and post-emergent herbicide application in the fall and spring. Fertilize the perimeter of the main buildings. Provide gardening services and removal of encroaching trees. Perform pond maintenance. Provide levee and slope mowing services and manual trimming due to uneven terrain. Trimming services for palms and trees above 8 feet or higher as needed, and 2-cycle services.
What does pond maintenance mean?
We do have several ponds, especially just right outside of 511. So they trim around the edge and they maintain it. So here's the cost breakdown. As you can see, items 1 through 24 are the locations for each of the sites, including SRWA. So the total amount for groundskeeping services is $976,440. Contract versus in-house. Contractor cost is $976,440. If we were to perform this in-house, we would be spending $1,222,156.81. So the savings that we'll have by going to contract instead of performing this in-house is $245,716.81. Timeline, June 2026, present groundskeeping services contract renewal to board for approval. July 2026, PO issued to Macklemore.
Travis, to Valley.
Oh,
That's incorrect.
sorry, to Valleywide.
Same question, is this a local company?
Correct, they're a local company. So here are some photos showing the current Valley-wide employees performing grounds maintenance. Here's some additional photos.
Is there any reason not to bid this out?
So the current contractor was the lowest bidder from the previous awarded contract. And it's recommended for us to continue to renew, and the prices stay the same. So it's best for us to continue to just with the renewal.
So they put it out for a bid or
They originally did
When was that?
in 2023.
you haven't bid it recently? See,
No, we haven't bid it out recently.
This is the third year of the
Contract,
Okay.
and typically we award for 3 years and then bid out. And so it's awarded on a 3-year contract with annual renewals.
This will be the third year or?
This is the fourth year.
Fourth year, so
Fourth
it's
year.
already 3 years.
Mhm.
So there's no obligation, and if this is sort of what the board's sort of thinking about, right? Is on renewal, at any time, we could decide to put a new cycle, but it's just where's the off-ramp and where's the on-ramp, and currently they've been performing well, and they're keeping the pricing, so we're on a renewal time, so how long do you think it might take to if we needed to go out for an
With an RFP,
RFP, right?
that'll take approximately 2 months.
3 months. 2 months is a little short, but yeah. It would take time to do that.
And we'll have to have to compare to see.
And the thing is, since we went ahead and did the renewal and we're coming up, it'll take us 2 months to go ahead and do the RFP process, go through purchasing and contracts. We do have this contract ending the end of August, so we're coming up pretty close to the deadline there.
There seems to be time.
Yes.
I'm not sure of the timing, even though we have 2 months there, then we have to set it on the agenda, so it would probably
Yeah,
not
2
go
months seems a
until,
little
it's
short
short.
to me.
It's just the RFP process, may take 2 months, but it's getting on the agenda, then it takes about another month to get on there based on deadlines and submittals. By the time you see information, we close out a week prior, and then staff has 1 week prior to, like 2 or 3 weeks. So there's another month there just on getting it to the board administratively.
Okay. I mean, we could do just a short extension. Is that
We can
possible?
look and discuss the extension, but that would be something that we could look at the contracts. I'm gonna refer for that on there.
Right, and the description, I guess your slide number,
Is the backup.
there was a groundskeeping service contract renewal, it's like the third slide.
Correct.
If you don't mind going back there. What was a little different about this one, and I do remember it, the awarded contract gives the BPUB the option to renew the contract for 3 additional 1-year periods. So initially, it's a 2-year contract, right there, the first bullet, and then up to 3 renewal periods. So this would be year 4 out of that total potential number,
So the
if
contract
it's
reads.
adopted, right?
Yeah, so the contract reads 3 years, right? And we're going to the fourth.
Right, right.
2 years.
2 and we're
2
going
years.
to the
2
fourth.
years.
So it's already got
We're already in the 4th year. Correct.
So the contract will expire by now.
No, it's
So it's a 2 year, and then you renew it for 1 more year, so that will be the third year, and this will be the 4th year. And the contract
right. So
is 2
but
years.
it allowed up to 5
Correct.
5 years total.
And
So we just have that flexibility, and there's I think this one, I don't think this was any different. We have an option to get off the train, right? So the cleanest time is actually going to be when upon
how
each
difficult
renewal.
is to have an extension, just to see if we can get another bid.
That would be up to them and the parties, but
Diane's not here, but can Diane get it done? Mike,
Can I
you think?
stand up and,
I mean, I think.
Estrella Solorzano, Director of General Services, I oversee facilities maintenance. We can request from the vendor
if they're willing to do a month-to-month extension, there could be a difference in pricing when we request that. So I do want to mention that. So they honor the pricing if we do a renewal. They don't necessarily honor the pricing if we do a month-to-month extension, but we can come back to the board on June 8th and provide you with an update on whether or not they're able to do that. We can request to the board on June 8th if we can do a contract renewal or a month-to-month extension to bid out the contract. Then that would be up to the board at that time with a timeline if we were to bid it out.
I mean, it might be the best option to do the renewal with this company, for sure. That might be the best option, but before we make that decision, it would be good to have, you know, just an idea of what current market rate is.
And we can do
Just
that.
Transparency with, you know, they ask, we bid out.
And we can do that. And one of the questions that was asked as we were going through the presentation is whether or not there had been a price increase from last year, and there wasn't. The only price increase was SRWA was added as part of this contract recently, so it wasn't added when it was initially contracted in 2023. It was added afterwards, and the pricing went from 126,600, I believe, to 128, which was a $1,000 increase for SRWA. And that one is actually approved separately from the SRWA board. So we would be going to the SRWA for that portion of the contract. So
that's gonna be my next
BPUB,
question.
so BPUB, the BPUB board only approves BPUB's portion of the contract. The SRWA board approves the SRWA portion of the contract. So it's actually broken down in the BPUB board agenda that we will be taking to the board. But again, it is the board's option. There has not been an increase in price from last year's, which is why we are recommending the renewal, but ultimately it would be the board's option. We can go back to Diane in the purchasing department and request if they can go back to the vendor and request if they can go back to the board on a month-to-month. And then on the June 8th board meeting, we'll provide you with the option on what you would prefer to do, either renew it or do a month-to-month with a potential difference in pricing.
Well, but those are not the options. I think what we want to see is the option to renew it at this price versus what other bids, you know, are estimating. That's what we want to see.
And correct, but the only way we can do that is, so we can't do that by June 8th. Because in order to do that, we would have to bid it out. So we would have to create a scope of services. That's going to take time.
Right.
We would then have to bid it out. That takes about.
August to make this decision, right?
Correct, but the bidding process, we would have to create the scope of services, we would then have to bid out. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks to bid it out, then we have to evaluate the vendors, choose the vendor, take it to a committee, and then take it to the board. I cannot guarantee that we're gonna make it by the August meeting prior to the 31st. We can try really hard, but the timeline will be very tight. We probably will not make it until September, and that's full transparency just on the timeline, Dr. Samora.
Just to
We
let you
can
know,
try.
when it gets issued out for bids, Value-Wide would have to bid again. It's not guaranteed that they're gonna come back with the same price. They might increase it.
So if we request a bid, are you saying that we cannot just renew?
No, because they will need to bid again. They can bid again and say, okay, we're still gonna keep this price.
But in the
no
contract that
guarantee.
we have the option to
To
renew.
renew, right, but we're not renewing, we're going out for bids.
But, so we can't go out for bid and then choose to just renew with the company that we have?
So I have not seen, I need to look at the contract to see how we have done what we've done to get to this point, right? Because the recommendation, I think, that staff was bringing was to accept the extension for 1 more year, right? So that's sort of how it's been teed up. I don't recall what the provisions of the contract may say about the mechanics of it, but if they're at risk, they see that they're at risk of going one way or another. I see what you're asking is, can we compare before we move forward the cost of renewal versus the market, right, today? I mean, that's a fair assessment.
I don't think they wanna be losing any money. I mean, as a business perspective, I don't see it. They will say, I wanna renew the contract and I'm gonna be losing money, so. I don't see the reason why not.
Right, well, I mean, they'd be looking at their contract, I'm sure, just to make a decision. For example, if they decide, you know, in today's marketplace, including whatever the cost to bid, to rebid, they wanna cancel, they may say, hey, we think our odds are pretty good with a new price, whatever that price may be. It could be lower, could be higher. They'll make that decision.
I mean, they
Because
don't
our-
have to rebid. I
Right.
think we would just, again, take our option to renew.
We would have to reject, the board would have to reject the bids that we received, and then come back to us, right? No, we have, I think they got bid out,
Well,
so then we have to reject
I
them.
need to look at what the contract says and the mechanics of it and the timing of it. And I don't know if you know some of those details offhand. I wouldn't expect you necessarily to do that,
Okay. I
but we
just
can
realized-
certainly get those questions ironed out between now and the board meeting.
I just
Right.
realized Juan is not here. We don't have any representation from the board council.
Paul is handling, he
Well,
doesn't-
no, right, but I thought like there was always supposed to be.
No, but he is able to handle the meetings for the committees.
He informed me that,
You can tell me later.
he had an appointment elsewhere, but he will be there this evening.
Okay.
As an example, SRWA, Paul is the one who handles the meetings for SRWA. I mean, I'm sorry, Paul handles the meetings for SRWA, so some of the meetings when Juan is not available, Paul steps in.
Okay.
For committees, not for board meetings.
Okay. Okay.
If you want him to review the administrative function of this, he does not have the contracts or everything else on there. He reviews the final
Okay.
agenda.
Not a
But
problem.
we can give him the option and the assignment to review the whole and give you a recommendation.
Yeah, because like I want you, I know you're really busy right now. And this is secondary to the other items.
Knowing what he also is working on this.
Yes, so, yes, I think, this committee would like to see,
Okay.
different, the different options.
Okay.
Would you like to bring it back to committee or to full board the different options?
Right.
To-
Because if not, we bring it back to committee, then that's,
What's the timing for rescheduling? and
Well, it's
things
easier
like
to
that?
reschedule this one.
Right.
So as soon as you have information, we can schedule this one.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you for that. That's what I was
Right.
trying to say, so we can keep it moving instead of waiting and what comes first. So just for clarity, we'll make sure that we give all the contract information to Juan. He will review the information that we have, the question for, that just came out about the bidding. We'll give him our procedures, if he has a copy of our procedures, and we'll work on the staff in providing a timeline of that. So when we come back to the meeting with Juan's recommendation or assessment of the contract in addition to staff timeline, then we'll be able to make a more informed decision on what process procedure to receive on here. In the meantime, we'll let the vendor know that the board has requested additional information and we're not renewing until we get that information to the board.
Right.
Okay.
Would you like, I guess, for us to get a month-to-month quote, and that way it would be part of the questions in terms of the bidding process?
I don't think we need that at this moment. Just to have it.
I would recommend
Yeah,
if we
we
could
need to have it, yeah.
Okay.
get a month-to-month, just in case.
Work with Diana.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay, any further questions?
No, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Next item. Next item, facility maintenance annual update.
Okay, so this is a facility maintenance annual update. Once again, I'm Travis Menchaca, Facilities Manager for Facility Maintenance Department. And we have the table of contents. I'll be going over the preventative maintenance, the PM Respond dashboard, work order system, small projects, large projects, capital improvement projects. I'll show you some photos, go over next steps and questions. So preventative maintenance. The FMD has been working with the reliability engineering team to develop a preventative maintenance program for all facility maintenance assets using Respondent CityWorks. This program is to ensure all BPUB-owned facility assets are maintained properly in order to reach and exceed the asset life expectancy. The test pilot started with the annex building in February 2026. And this is currently just a general layout of our preventative maintenance dashboard. And then here's another dashboard showing our work order system, which is, compared to CityWorks, it's really user-friendly, so that's a huge plus. So work order system. The FMD is working with the reliability engineering team to create a work order system that is user-friendly for all BPUB employees to submit work order requests and respond. By using this application, this will eliminate the need for submitting requests through email. FMD will be able to track all work orders created and ensure each task is completed in a timely manner. So on the plus side, users can track work order progress to completion. FMD can track the types of work orders submitted per building. We eliminate the use of emails by creating work orders, and FMD and executives can receive real-time data. So small projects that facility maintenance has been working on would be admin office upgrades, electrical upgrades, fence restorations, sidewalk repairs, landscaping and irrigation upgrades and repairs, working on gates, plumbing, building automation systems, and we've also been partnering with safety and security regarding their projects and access. And we've been assisting with office relocation, assisting the IT department, and assisting all the other departments regarding setups and events. So it's not just janitorial and maintenance. Large projects, we had the admin monument sign installation and traffic sign upgrades earlier in the fiscal year. We had the 511 admin and annex fire suppression system repairs. We have the pump house 1 and 3 door and exhaust system installation that we'll be working on in the next month. We have exterior house repairs to the Promac house. That will be coming up in the next month. We have the SRWA floor painting project. And basically with that one, what we'll be doing is removing the existing epoxy paint that's been chipping and it just looks terrible right now. What we'll end up doing is removing it with diamond grinding disc and going back with the epoxy polymer paint. Basically, it's the same type of system that's used at SpaceX. So that'll be really good. Water plant 1 seal coating and restriping. Admin second floor transformer replacement, which we're hoping that'll take place in the next few weeks. SRWA HVAC and exhaust system replacement. 511 mediation of mold. HVAC upgrades throughout the entire facilities. Parking lot restorations, roof replacements, Resaca maintenance warehouse roof repairs, easements, and acreage clearing.
I have a question.
Yes.
So for example, for the FRWA improvements, so do you get reimbursed from FRWA?
Yes,
for
we do.
that?
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe you can explain it at SRWA. I think the full board have the full visibility of the SRWA about the accounting and the contracts, since we're talking about SRWA that way there. Yeah,
I mean,
real quick.
On our system, we treat it as a separate system. BPUB is the managing operator of the plant, but SRWA has its own budget. So they have a maintenance budget, and that's what pays for this stuff.
So when it's a third-party contractor, they pay that contractor directly, but when it's something that's done by EPUB staff, then they pay.
Right, then we would have to submit an invoice to SRWA.
But owner operator, that's the operating agreement that's in place and the delineation of the costs between the two entities for, I guess, SRWA gets the benefit for BPUB managing it because we get economies of scales on various different contracts. Instead of having a maintenance contract like we talked about for a certain thing, they go under our umbrella through his contract. So we're separating everything, tracking everything, and accounting, then codes go to the various departments.
Yeah, in our system, it's got a different fund from PUB, so totally separate.
We should collect the money from SRA.
But we're not doing it for free. Right.
Okay. Capital improvement projects, we have the admin communication office remodel, that is $39,000. Admin chillers replacement project, that's $375,000. Admin floor replacement, $171,000. Admin roof replacement, $146,000. Water plant resaca maintenance office renovation, that's $50,000. 511 service yard gate modifications, $25,000. Admin risk office remodel, that's $9,000. Robindale fence installation project, $46,000. Crew building SSOD sock room remodel, we're still waiting for bids to come in on that one. And the analytical lab design project, which was approved for $452,000. So here we have some photos showing the newly paved and striped parking lot for the south plant, which was 6,000 square feet of asphalt replacement, seal coating and restriping. Here we have the admin parking lot prep, seal coat and patching of 555,700 square feet and 3,754 linear feet of restriping. These are the admin installation of the 16 monument signs and directional signs. Here we have approximately 500 linear feet of fence repairs at the old service yard. Here we have 1,000 linear feet of fence picket repair and staying at the admin chiller fence plant. Here we have the water plant 2 replacement of 1,500 linear feet of fence. The next one is at 511, of the replacement of 800 square feet of yellow safety paint at the facility maintenance fleet shop. As you can tell, it was in pretty bad shape, so afterwards we went ahead and had the contractor grind everything down and repaint. And we have the upcoming replacement of 2 150-ton air-cooled chillers at the admin building. And then we also have the upcoming 6,500 square feet of roof replacement at the, we've had the replacement of the Robindale roof for 1,500, for 6,500 square feet. We also have the 1,500 square feet of roof repairs at the admin that have taken place over the years. The upcoming full replacement of the shingle and built-up roof for the admin building will be taking place this fiscal year.
There you have, and when you drive back to your board meeting or your meeting or in the boardroom, just look at the admin window, you'll see different colors, patches and stuff.
Correct.
So we're now doing a natural roof repair.
And the repairs, you can see it's a green shingle.
So it'll be a uniform color.
Mhm.
You haven't noticed it, it's very, to us, very visible.
And then another upcoming project is the admin flooring replacement for a total of 35,000 square feet to include carpet removal and replacement of laminate vinyl tile and all baseboards throughout the entire facility for the admin building.
How old is that carpet?
It's original. It's about something years. So as you can tell, the black lines on there, it's not edited. It's tape holding the carpet down due to
We are heavily investing, and that's one of the things with the, under now Saya's new leadership and Connie and now Travis on board. We have somebody that's taking a holistic approach of all of our facilities and upgrading.
Bunch of
it, but-
allergies are gonna improve.
yes, that's correct. Next steps with FMD is to hire a facility maintenance tech, 2 technician positions which were vacant. We have a facility maintenance tech starting on Tuesday, so we're really excited with that, with his credentials and background in HVAC. That's definitely gonna help our team out. We'll complete all projects before the fiscal year ends. FMD is to hire 2 additional facility maintenance techs and 3 helpers in order to bring the subcontracted HVAC maintenance service agreement in-house. The current HVAC maintenance contract costs $133,550. FMD will achieve this by reclassifying existing vacancies to staff with HVAC experience, which would strengthen facility maintenance support and bring the contract in-house. And does anybody have any questions?
So you're saying that bringing it in-house will save money?
Yes, yes, they will.
It's a recommendation that it
Yes.
hasn't, it's under discussion.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. No
No
questions.
questions.
Okay, all right, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, discussion and a request for future agenda items. I have one. Hi, Roy. So how many departments do we have? Okay.
You wanted to visit all the departments?
So what I would like, and please jump in to tell me how this is not feasible. But I would love to have each department head, just give us 5 minutes, and we could organize it so it's just two presenting at each of these committee meetings at a time. And just telling us how they're using AI in their department to improve efficiency, reduce risk, save money, like however they it doesn't have to be a formal PowerPoint. Could just be, just 5 minutes. You have the floor. Impress us, or maybe they're just starting to. But I want to know like how it is that they are using AI in their respective departments. And does this sound feasible?
We will get back to you because some areas are considered confidential.
I understand, and we could talk in executive session
Yes,
about
and
those.
that's what I was gonna say, let us huddle,
Right.
and we'll get back to you on the feasibility, the timeline, the full organization, and then it's not gonna be an overnight feat, because we wanna give you a scheduled timeline of providing you that information.
And we could organize, it could be like alphabetical order or by size of the department, and then just two at a time at each committee meeting. It'll take a while.
Yeah, we don't allow right now certain systems in place, and I don't wanna get into confidentialities and ITs and vulnerabilities.
Right.
If we can excuse us into executive session, if that's positive, then we can go ahead and, not everybody here is part of the
Yes,
organization.
and I
And we
would
can, and we
imagine.
can have that conversation so I can explain some of the IT things, and I'm not sure if Eddie's on, and I can have them because there's some vulnerabilities, that we need to discuss.
There's definitely gonna be a lot of issues in, even thinking about future, either board policies or organizational protocols that would require us to,
Yes.
use executive session, but I think that's totally
Yeah.
fine.
We have a person who's assigned, and I have given the instructions to give us the controls of the pilot program that we're running for AI, and some of the information and the listing of the individuals that are there.
So we
and why
could
they're
start
being
maybe
active.
with that one and perhaps in executive session,
Okay.
talking about
We can do
different
that.
vulnerabilities and, yeah. So that could be the first one, and then we go from there, like 2 by 2. What do you think?
So let's start with the asset management program and the strategic person who is involved in that, and the presentation of what we're doing, along with the person who's the heaviest user happens to be in the electrical engineering department and how Power BI has been utilized there. That one will definitely have to go into the closed session because it talks about various system vulnerabilities.
Okay.
And competitive matters.
Yes,
Yes.
Okay.
it's more competitive, I think, than
Right.
vulnerabilities.
Yeah, do you have anything to add? And the item number 5 is discussion on date, time of next committee meeting.
And may I add that you had previously said getting back on to this committee on this discussion of item 2. Right, so we'll also have that.
Yes. But do we have a time, or a date? No, right?
It's up to you all.
I think it's whenever you guys can
Do
do
we
it.
have an annual schedule of the Facilities and Improvements Committee?
We do.
But it's scheduled every 2 months, but if one is needed before, then we pull the committee and we'll schedule it.
Okay.
Somebody, do you want to schedule a time now, or do you want to start forward committee at the time? We need senior committee members, so that's all.
Yeah, well, we would poll, yes.
Okay.
And again, it would be depending on when there are answers.
Right.
So, yeah. We will poll. Okay, and we can adjourn?
Thank you.
Need a motion?
Motion?
Second. All in favor?